Hello and welcome to Student Organizations 101. My name is Lee Gray and I'm a program intern for Student Organizations in the Office of Engagement and Inclusion. Today I'm going to talk to you about the basics of running a student organization on campus. Before we go ahead and get started, if you have not already downloaded Checkpoint by Presence and the Marquee app, please make sure to do so as they will be an important part of running your organization. Here we have a list of the student organization staff currently for fall 2021. The first is Demetria Bell-Anderson, who is the director of the Office of Engagement and Inclusion. We have Jessica Solorzano, who is the graduate assistant for student organizations. Myself, Lee Gray, the student organizations program intern, and Jeremy Mitchell, the office associate. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to go over some basic requirements. We're going to talk about publicity, conduct, money, and student org funding training. We're going to talk about Sodexo Policy Reminders, everything to do with events. I'll talk about Marquee and Marquee 101, risk management, and the CLSI resources. So first up, the basic requirements to be a student organization on campus. You must have at least 5 active members, with sorority and fraternity life being exempt from that rule. Your organization's officers must be in good standing, so that means not on academic or disciplinary probation, and the Office of Engagement and Inclusion will conduct checks throughout the semester. Your constitution must update every 2 years. If it has not been updated since then, make sure to go ahead and do that. You must have an advisor for your organization. You must attend mandatory trainings such as Lifesavers, Bystander Intervention, and Title IX, and make sure to re-register every November by Thanksgiving break. So publicity, what do you need to get approved from the Office of Engagement and Inclusion? The answer is everything. And the way you get that approval is through Marquee, which more details on how to utilize Marquee will be coming to you later during our Marquee 101. But for now, just know that everything goes through there. And some refreshers on policy, you may need additional approval for posting publicity in certain areas. You can post on bulletin boards and designated posting areas such as kiosks and posting boards only. So posting on walls, windows, doors, sidewalks, fences, buildings, and grounds is strictly prohibited, and all publicity placed there will be removed. And also make sure when you're posting your publicity to post using masking tape or bulletin board pins only. So some places need advanced reservation to put your publicity there. Places like the residence halls, the AMU stairwell banners, display cases, and table tents. But there are other ways to publicize too, such as through Marquee, the Marquette Tribune, through news briefs, Access TV locations, and on Marquette Dining Radio. So you can print tabloids, posters, and banners for your organization, and the way you do that is you submit a request through the link that you see on screen here. The MU student government has $2,300 set aside for all student orgs, which can go towards this printing. And for more general information, make sure you see the handout. So student organization conduct policy. Hazing will result in a minimum of a 1-year suspension, and alcohol violations will also result in a minimum of a 1-year suspension. So this involves providing alcohol to minors. You can have probation, fines, and limitations on activities or holds, and also loss of privileges if you are not in accordance with conduct. So this means no room reservations, no OFES table, and your organization can even be disbanded. Club finances. For a bank account authorization, it's dual signatory and you have financial reports. And to transition to new officers, all authorized users must go in person. And the record keeping of officer elections and transitions must be kept up to date. And make sure to return and cancel cards at officer transition. And so for your bank account, make sure to use the organization CLSI mailbox as the account address. And we'll be talking a little bit more about the CLSI mailboxes later if you're unsure of which one yours is. So student org funding is provided by Marquette University student government. It is not provided by the Office of Engagement and Inclusion. You must complete the training session before you can apply for funding. And all funding for the fall 2021 semester is spot funding. So the organization president assigns Marquee permission, and the person filling out the form should complete the training or another e-board member. The executive vice president of MUSG is Cameron Heiser, and his contact information is listed down below. Some Sodexo Policy Reminders. You can bring your own food into the AMU, but not in the ballrooms, Marquette Place, or the Lunda Room. And make sure that you have no homemade food items. If food is provided by a licensed kitchen, which almost all restaurants are a licensed kitchen, there are no restrictions on them. You also have access to the Innovation Kitchen, which is a service for programming and authentic meals for cultural and religious events. There's also a Sodexo programming sponsorship, which is sponsorship dollars for food at student org events. Just keep in mind that it will rarely will fund your full event, but it can impact student org funding requests, so keep that in mind. For more details on this, see the link down below. So events, what is an event? An event is anything put on by a recognized student organization, including events, activities, programs, publicity, displays, and others. So what type of events do you have to get approved by the Office of Engagement and Inclusion? Once again, the answer is everything, with the exception being general group meetings and practices. So if it's just within your organization and it's a weekly or bi-weekly meeting or something like that, then you don't have to get it approved, but everything else open to the public or other activities does have to get approved. Um, just make sure if your event is co-sponsored with University Department and Travel to bring it up with them as well. And if you are working with minors, there are some extra steps you have to fill out before you can put on your event. But overall, whenever you want to put on an event, make sure you submit the notice at least 2 weeks in advance to give student org staff time to approve it. So event approval components. The first step is reservation, which you can make reservations at AMU Event Services, which the link is up on screen. And the second is an event request or content approval, which is approved by student organizations through Marquee. Just keep in mind that space reservation does not automatically equal event approval. So even if you successfully reserve your space, if your event request gets denied, your event cannot be held. Here is a link to submit your events, and the Office of Engagement Inclusion is notified when you submit. Event Services is also notified when it's approved, so you'll be able to see that. And keep in mind, if you're trying to hold events, there are no events during finals weeks. The AMU also has several event services, and there's a couple different types of reservation requests that you can make. There are singular, multi-dates, reoccurring, and special requests, and make sure you review the practice space policy before doing that. A little bit more about Marquee, and once again, if this might seem a little confusing now, we have a Marquee 101 coming out soon after this that you'll be able to get more information from. But through Marquee, you can submit an event request. You must be listed as an officer within Marquee to submit that request, and keep an update of your roster for your student organizations. Make sure it's up to date right after the election. And an easy way to do this through Marquee is you create a meeting event, check people in, invite them to join the page, and keep in mind that they must accept the email invitation to be included. But that is an easy way to keep your roster updated. There's several ways to check in with the Checkpoint app. You can open the app, click Pin Login or Scan. You can physically swipe your MUID. You can enter your email, make sure that it's marquette.edu only, or enter your MUID number, but skip the first two zeros. And you can check into events to get points, but you have to check in to get organization credit. So risk management considerations occur when you are working with minors. That form is needed if parents or guardians are not present and if there's any chance of interaction with minors. If you're ever unsure of whether an event will come into contact with minors, email riskmanagement@marquette.edu and they can answer your questions. The form that you fill out for events like this is down below. And once again, you email it to riskmanagement@marquette.edu. Risk management also comes into play for some unique situations such as petting zoos, fireworks, bouncy houses, any situation that might propose a risk that is a kind of outstanding circumstances and doesn't normally occur within a weekly meeting or things like that. There's also auto insurance opportunities. A useful resource for student organizations is the Center for Leadership, Service, and Involvement, otherwise known as the CLSI. It's located in AMU 137, which is in the first floor of the AMU just past the brew. It contains supplies, computers, conference rooms, workspaces, and staff to support your needs from all of the different functional areas, such as the LGBTQ Resource Center, Sorority and Fraternity Life, Late Night Marquette, and a bunch of other offices. As you can see, there's fall hours listed down below. It's open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 10, Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturday it is closed, and Sunday it is open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is also where the student organization mailboxes are located. A little bit more about student organization mailboxes. There's a list of every student organization mailbox. See the front desk at the CLSI if you're unsure of which one is yours, and make sure that you check that often, once a week at least, preferably. And right there is the address for if you want to receive mail for your student organization. There's other student organizations amenities available, such as yard games and board games, which you can check out. And once again, here is a list of student organization staff. There's the contact information for Demetria Bell Anderson, Jessica Solorzano, and the general email engaged@marquette.edu. If you have any general questions about anything related to student orgs, please email that general email and we will make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. You can also contact me through that email, so it is a helpful and useful resource. Thank you so much for coming to Fall 2021 Student Organizations 101, and I will see you next time.